And then next morning I hear that they did it with the helicopter. And I was so mad at him because I said, you endangered this whole film. Well, at that time, to do like water shots was really, really difficult. And I had like kind of planned to make this super long shot, you know, where like a wave comes closer and closer and then goes over like kind of all these buildings. And I only remember when I was riding A Day After Tomorrow was around like end of the year of 2001, and all of a sudden the attack on 9/11 happened. And I was like immediately stopped writing. I forgot about it. I said I should never ever do a movie where anything gets destroyed. And then, you know, maybe a year later, people said, so what happened with your, global warming movie? I canceled it because it's like, I think people want to see movies like this anymore. And then friends of mine said, no, but it's a really important subject. You shouldn't do that. Why you don't like have the water come and, you know, nothing gets destroyed, which is like physically impossible, but that's what I did. Yes, it was wet because we had to flood a lot of things. But you know what? The worst was like kind of the snow, because you use like kind of this like kind of paper powder, more or less. It's grinded white paper and it goes everywhere. My co-writer, Dean Devlin, was at the beginning not very kind of hot on the idea to make an alien invasion movie. And he said, like, look, how many like kind of flying saucers we have come and seen, and he's saying, you don't understand one thing now. And then I walked with him to the window, and he has like a house like overlooking Los Angeles. Imagine now the underbelly of a ship filling the sky. What would you think? They said, that's incredible. Let's do that movie. And I had always this image. I always like kind of thought, if they would, aliens would come visiting us, why would they be in a small little flying saucer? They would like kind of probably have like a city big spacecraft, and that was the idea behind it. I like to kind of make fun of movies. And I always like try to infuse as much humor as possible, but it has to be always humor which naturally comes. And I kind of thought, isn't this like kind of funny when somebody goes fishing and he catches Godzilla?
I got a bite.
We found this like really, really funny Italian actor who was just funny looking at him. And we had to shoot like kind of first, you know, him on the pier. It was like kind of done on the Universal has this tank where we did that. And then we did a miniature version. And then we also on top of it shot him on a green screen stage. So he had to do 3 times the same thing. What we like kind of discovered, we had first built this like incredible, complicated gimbal, but it was way too high, so it was really hard to shoot. So what we did, you know, after maybe 1 or 2 days of shooting with the gimbal, we took overnight the whole gimbal down and put the airplane on the ground and did all the movements with the camera, and it worked so much better. By that time, when we shot the last scene, you know, with Ed Skrein and Kian Johnson, we had like kind of perfected that. And there was this moment, you know, where Kian, as the radio man, gets lifted out. And that was a super simple trick. We had like kind of some like kind of somebody from down below pushing him up. It was as simple as that. For me, it was very clear that we had to shoot every kind of shot with helicopters because it's very uneven terrain. A car cannot really do it. So we had to shoot everything with a helicopter. I think only very, very little with the people we shot extra. And there was this one shot which we didn't know how to get. And it was like when they're putting up the net and it goes into this canyon. We couldn't find a canyon which was big enough for a helicopter to fly in, right? So I kind of said to the helicopter pilot, let's not do this shot, I figure out something else. And then next morning I hear that they did it with the helicopter. And I was so mad at him because I said, you endangered this whole film, because if you would have crashed, this would have been the end of the film.